Hey y'all, my name is Miss Dee Dee. Thank you so much. Welcome to Creative Therapy. I am super excited. You know, it really don't take a lot for me to get excited, but making things is truly therapeutic for me. So I get excited when I get to make something, or create is what I like to say. So I recently did a video on how we created this look, and we did the cracked paint look. And today I wanted to show you how we added the sunflower water slide decal to this tumbler, or how we created this look. And I wanted to show you how the cracked paint turned out with the epoxy. Now this one has already been sanded down just a little so that I can apply the water slide decals. But here's how, just look at how the it makes me want to get my soprano notes every time. Look at how the epoxy just brings it to life. It was dull before we added the epoxy, and now it just has that like I'm alive type look to it. So I'm really excited about that. So to add the decals to this one, we're going to need, we're going to need some water slides, which are here, my sunflowers. I've already added the triple thick spray is what I use for my top layers. I spray it 3 different times and I let it dry in between. And I will try to do a video on that soon. But this is the water slide decal paper that I use. I ordered this from Amazon, but you can use whatever works for you. The main thing is finding what works for you. But I've been using these for a few years now, and I really like them. And outside of the triple thick, you can use another brand of sealant, is what I like to call it. But triple thick has worked for me for a while. So I mean, again, with therapy, you have to find what works for you and be good at what you like. So again, we're going to need the water slide decals. I showed you the kind that I normally use. You're going to need your pins, your tumbler, and your decals that I've already cut out with my Silhouette Cameo 3. I have the Cricut, and I am still doing both, but I really like the Cameo. I've been working with it for quite some time now. You're going to need something to help your transfer tape to put your decal down on it, and you're going to need a pair of scissors so that you can cut out your water slide. So let's get started with the customizing of the tumbler. So what I like to do is find a place that I'm going to place my name. And if this was an area, if you had an area that maybe didn't look as good, or you really want to cover that up, or you don't want that to be seen or something like that, this will be the time to find that place, because once you put the name over it, you're not really going to see what's behind that. You're going to focus mostly on the name itself. So I will definitely go and see, in which I don't really have one that pop out at me, so we're just going to have to find a place to place the name. So okay, I have that spot, and I'm going to apply my name first. And there's no right or wrong way to do this. If you prefer to do your sunflowers first, that's fine. But the reason why I put the name on first is because I can build around that, versus putting the sunflowers and still trying to find spaces, or making sure that I'm not, putting overlapping things like that. So when I normally put the name on this one, I put it at an angle. I just like it that way. It's totally your preference and what you like, however you choose. So at this point, you will apply your name to your tumbler. And I'll just look at it. And there we go. So I use this to try to help give it some love. Y'all know we have to love on it just a little bit. So I am making sure that this sticks to my tumbler without any bubbles or anything like that in it, and making sure that it gets on it like it's supposed to. I am really excited at this, y'all. Okay, so there it is. The name has, I have the transfer tape And I've already gave it a little love to try to help it along the way. You know, we all need some love now. So I am going to peel my transfer tape off, and I like to peel mine off at an angle, and I don't just rip it off, you know. To me, I just like to just nicely peel it off. And the reason why I do that is because sometimes when you do that, you can actually pick your work back up, especially if it's really small words. They can come up really, really quick. So it's always easier for me to peel off at a slow angle and go back if I need to. Yes. And sometimes they have, like, I like to say, air bubbles. I go and make sure I get that out as much as I can. But this is our name that has been applied to the tumbler. I am super, super excited. I like that. So at this point, what I would do is go and see where I'm going to add my first sunflower. And I am going to go back and add the You Are My Sunshine on the back of this. And I did not cut that decal out, so I'm going to. Right now we'll just add the sunflowers to her name here, if that's okay. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to use this decal here, this sunflower here, and with water slide, it's more or less you have glue, and it's like you're cutting, to me, it's like you're cutting the paper with glue. So you're going to go and get as close as you possibly can to, and sometimes what I would normally do is just cut it out and then go back and cut around it again, because you want to get as close to your picture, your print, as you possibly can without actually messing up or cutting into your picture. And I'll show you this once I get it. I just wanted you to see how you're getting, so right now that is my sunflower, and the white outside of that is something that I really don't need. So I'm going to go and see if I can get as close to that yellow without actually cutting into the yellow. And please keep in mind, when you spray your water slide, please allow it time to dry, because if you don't, it's going to be really hard to do this portion of it. And you cannot, once it's in the water, it's going to be hard for you to go back and trim it down. I did that once and completely forgot to go back and trim it down. I just cut it out and stuck it on the, just getting ready to stick it on, and I was like, no, I need to trim that down some. And as I was beginning to trim, it was actually coming away from my paper. I was like, okay, that's not going to work. But I had to literally hold it in place, and then it was like, okay, there must be an easier way to do this. So I was reminded that I needed to make sure that I trim the edges before I drop it down in the water. So you may not do it as much as I have, and it's okay, but as you can see, I tried to get as close to it as I possibly could. So I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 sunflowers. So if you can go ahead and just cut out your sunflowers, and I'll be right back.
forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 8.